I was back out on that 49ers practice field for day 2, which saw more big plays from the wide receivers, including the rookie De'Zhaun Stribling. He's getting open. Catch and run touchdown, and we'll talk about him and Ricky Pearsall. Obviously, the main quarterback throwing them the football is Brock Purdy. Here's a full look at all the highlights from today's practice, including the punter competition. Corliss Waitman at left, the veteran. Jack Bomeister, the rookie out of the University of Texas, the right footer. We'll see who wins that for the 49ers. Here's that wide receiver room that has been so impressive for the 49ers. They've added a ton of speed. Mike Evans didn't get the memo that he was supposed to go right there, but it's okay. Mike Evans got in on it right after, and all of those 49ers receivers worked hard today. Take a listen to Brock Purdy on the wide receiver room speed and what it might open up for this 49ers offense.
Been able to bring in a personnel where guys are, one, healthy, but then two, bringing in other guys that, can help us open it up. The third level throws down the field are definitely a thing that we all dove into and looked at this offseason, and how we can get those kind of plays and those explosives. But in order to get those, you need the right guys to do it. And so I think we have shown that we got some speed now. And obviously we got to keep building on it, and we'll find out as we go. But from what I've seen the first 2 days and being able to, air it out and get guys out in those positions, man, for me, I'm let's go. It brings a whole nother, dynamic to our offense.
Third level throws. Remember back in 2023 when the 49ers had a historically good offense, Brock Purdy was the most accurate quarterback in the entire NFL on passes that traveled more than 20 yards in the air. By the way, Kyle Shanahan today showed up just like yesterday. Day 1, he was out for about 20 or 30 minutes. He was standing deep in center field next to John Lynch. Lynch loves to watch practice from that angle because back when he was a Hall of Fame safety, that was generally the angle from which he saw offenses operate. So Lynch and Shanahan are watching from 40 to 50 yards away in center field. The 49ers threw 2 deep passes that forced Lynch and Shanahan, who's coming off that accident 2 weeks ago, to scatter.
I saw it after. I was like, dang, I almost hit Kyle. But no, I was mad we couldn't complete the throw. But yeah, heads up, coach.
Shanahan was okay. Movement ability put to the test despite some of those fractures, and he did fine. Looks like he could suit right back up, be a wide receiver for the University of Texas. All right, back to the highlights. Christian McCaffrey. He's opened this camp with some juice. Christian had a long touchdown run today. I just wanted to show some running backs catching the ball out of the backfield. See how well Kalon Black mimics Christian McCaffrey. Throw a little bit behind him, but Kalon today had a big end to practice. Jordan James practiced for the first half, didn't practice for the second half. No word on him yet, but he's been running back number 2 to begin this training camp. There's a look at Mike Evans and Ricky Pearsall. Both of them healthy, both of them expected to be main contributors for this 49ers offense. And then we could spend some time talking about quarterback's footwork. First, Mac Jones, followed by Curtis Rourke, the 49ers second-year quarterback who practiced for a few weeks last year but was never activated from NFI, came off of an ACL tear in college. Curtis today had some boom plays, and he had some bust plays. Look at Mac Jones playing some defense, making it hard to throw over him. But Curtis Rourke got that throw over Mac Jones. Before we get to the play-by-play from practice, and you guys know that I give you what happened in detail, do want to give you an injury update. There was a scare, and that scare transferred over to social media when the rookie edge rusher Romelo Height was carted off the field, and they were looking at Height's leg and they were looking at his shoulders, and nobody was really sure what was more hurt. It turns out that Romelo Height was just suffering cramps. And remember, this is just day 2 of training camp, which means that players are still getting back into full football shape. I mean, even if you've been working out very hard, you haven't been doing team stuff in the off season, and you sometimes just have to play your way into it. It's not overly hot out here. I think it's actually perfect weather in Santa Clara, 75 to 80 degrees, not a single cloud in the sky. I always like showing you guys what it looks like here at the helmet update. As you can tell, beautiful skies, but Romelo Height, maybe a little bit of dehydration, some cramping. He's okay, and that's good because we just heard Nick Bosa talking about Romelo Height this morning on KMBR. This is something that I brought up during the spring. Romelo's played for 6 colleges in 6 years, 25 years old. Bosa said that he's never seen a rookie defensive end pick stuff up, like the intricacies of what he needs to do, faster than Romelo Height. And Chris Kasarik was saying something similar over the course of OTAs. And I think the fact that he's a bit older, the fact that he's had to pick up 6 different college systems in 6 years, I think that comes in to benefit Romelo Height now. I think it comes in to benefit De'Zhaun Stribling too. One of the themes of this 49ers rookie class, between Stribling, Height, somebody like Kalon Black, somebody like Carver Willis, playing some left guard for the 49ers now, working on center as well. One of the themes is that these guys are older, they have a lot of college experience in the NIL era, and the 49ers hope that they'll be able to contribute right away. All right, so Christian Kirk, calf strain. He exited practice on day 1, 49ers veteran wide receiver. Not sure how long that's going to keep him out, but I would expect him to miss at least a few practices. Vidarian Lowe, the swing tackle, 49ers signed him this offseason. Was previously with the New England Patriots, suffered a high ankle sprain, got rolled up on. That's going to keep Vidarian Lowe out for a little bit of time. Then there's Andrew Farmer. He's a depth edge rusher who's been on the 49ers practice squad. He has a back issue. And finally, Grayson Halton, the rookie, the very athletic defensive tackle out of Oklahoma, has a bone bruise in his knee. We'll see how long Halton is out, although just reading that injury, I don't think that's going to be a tremendously long-term thing. All of these rookies, so important for them to stay on the field here during training camp so they could acclimate to the NFL. So we will be keeping a close eye on Grayson Halton, who's the only rookie in that list, and that's why there was so much worry about Romelo Height. All right, on to the plays from practice. I mentioned Curtis Rourke a little bit earlier, boom or bust day. Finished up with a long touchdown to Junior Bergen. That was essentially third team work today. Bergen, like Curtis Rourke, a second-year player, somebody who was on the practice squad last year. Earlier in practice, though, Curtis Rourke threw a pick 6. Eli Apple, probably recognize the name, even if you do not follow the very depths of this 49ers roster. 11th year cornerback, started his career with the New York Giants back in 2016. He had a nice pick 6 in third team work off of Curtis Rourke. But Rourke did immediately rebound with what could have been a touchdown. You can't really tell in these practices because they kind of blow the play dead before it hits the end zone. But it was a little seam shot to Jordan Watkins, second-year receiver, one of the receivers who went out to Nashville a couple weeks ago to work out with Brock Purdy and George Kittle. So Rourke obviously still finding his bearings. I think he's got a solid big arm, strong lower body, moves decently well. And today we saw the interception that I talked about to Eli Apple, and we saw a couple of those touchdown passes. That last one lit up the 49ers bench. On to Ricky Pearsall, who had the catch and run TD, who's moving very, very smoothly for the 49ers. You know, earlier in practice today, Mac Jones was at quarterback. Ricky ran a double move on Jack Jones, who is a boom or bust cornerback. But Jack Jones, this is a really interesting player, played for the Dolphins last year, was one of the best zone corners in the league, but one of the worst man coverage corners in the league. Has made big plays, but has also given up big plays. Well, he was matched up on Ricky Pearsall, ran a double move and got way open. But the problem is that Mac just left the ball short and to Pearsall's right, so it was incomplete. He misfired, but it was eye-opening to see how open Ricky Pearsall got. Hey, Ricky Pearsall, and I've said this before, and I'll put the stat out again, over the first 4 weeks of last year, well over 2 yards per route run, highest number of any 2024 wide receiver draftee. Even when you consider the weeks, the majority of the season that Pearsall was playing with injury, he was number 2 behind only Malik Neighbors out of all 2024 draftee wide receivers. So Ricky Pearsall, when he's healthy, which he is right now, and really only one injury on the football field has kept him out. It was the PCL last year that just didn't heal. he's been really damn good. And he's been really damn good out on that field so far. As far as Jack Jones goes, I think the 49ers are excited about their cornerback depth. Raheem Morris, the defensive coordinator, talked about that today. And Jack, I don't know if he's going to unseat Renardo Green. Renardo actually had an awesome pass breakup today, kind of leapt and knocked the ball away. Raheem Morris shouted out that pass breakup. Raheem Morris even said that Renardo's really been showing elite talent over the course of this offseason, OTAs, now to start training camps.
He's shown it, he's shown the ability to go out there and play, at an elite level from bump. He's shown the ability to be able to take it from the classroom to the field. He made a big time play today. He's shown up in a big way. He showed up at OTA days. He's exciting. He's got great length. He's got great ball skills. He's got all the ability in the world. And now is, as you say, time to go out there and do it. So, let him continue to do and continue to grow and continue to play. And I think get the best out of players.
So I would fully expect Deommodore, Lenoir, and Renardo Green to be the 49ers' two starting outside corners, but you need that depth. And Jack Jones, despite getting beaten by Ricky Pearsall today, has flashed. As far as Stribling goes, I could talk about the seam shot that he caught today. He caught one yesterday to end practice. He was getting open to the boundaries today, but the catch and run touchdown today. Remember, De'Zhaun Stribling is big, 6'3" size, but he's got that 4.36 speed. Mike said that in OTAs, he resembled Terrell Owens, and I don't disagree. I mean, Terrell Owens was big, he was 6'3", and he had 4.3 speed. Whether or not De'Zhaun Stribling becomes that player remains to be seen, but he has gotten rave reviews from anybody who's been able to talk about receivers so far, including Brock Purdy today. So 49ers are very excited about De'Zhaun Stribling. When you see him on that field next to Mike Evans, you wonder, is De'Zhaun going to be the X-receiver after Evans is done? And now Evans doesn't look anywhere near done. He's catching a lot of passes. Looked good again today for the 49ers. Day one saw the big connection from Purdy to Evans deep. But De'Zhaun Stribling clearly has the tools to be an X-receiver when we talk about the physical standpoint of things. For now, though, I think the 49ers, especially with Christian Kirk out, you're going to see a big slot focus for San Francisco. I mentioned that CMC has a lot of juice to begin this camp. I don't think that should be surprising. Muscle-on-muscle collision early between Kalon Black and Marquise Siegel, the 49ers' second-year safety. No hitting yet, but sometimes there are some collisions. Nobody fell. It was just one of those, there's a little bit of pop there before the pads come on. Purdy today threw his first interception of camp. It was on a shorter throw, and it was Ji'Ayir Brown, the safety, who's taken all the first-team reps so far for the 49ers. Ji'Ayir Brown, I think he is in the driver's seat. It does seem that Raheem Morris likes what he sees from Ji'Ayir Brown, or at least has liked what he's seen off the field and over the course of OTAs from Ji'Ayir Brown, but he was able to prey on a short Purdy pass and pick it off. And we'll see how the 49ers construct that safety room. Yesterday, Malik Mustafa made a hell of a play, a pass breakup on a deep Purdy, and it was a good ball from Purdy on a deep pass to Pearsall down the sideline. Today, it was Ji'Ayir Brown, the other safety, making a flash play for the 49ers. Then there is Fred Warner. My goodness, this guy, he looks like Fred Warner. He hasn't skipped a beat. I guess that's not surprising given the fact that he almost returned from the fractured ankle last year. But every single time he makes a play, and he makes a lot of them, made one in front of the media today, 2 in a row actually, he does the whole, he gets his, I have my phone right here, I could pick it up. He gets both fingers out and he pretends he has a phone in his hand and he's, messing with his thumbs like he's typing on his phone. And he's basically telling the media, hey, write that down, tweet about it. Well, I tweeted about it. Now I'm talking about it on the YouTube video. Fred Warner is making plays. And, we're going to talk about early looks at position battles. Connor Colby right now looks to be in the lead at left guard. Nick Martin is the guy that's lining up next to Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw at that strong side linebacker position. So coming off the concussion that kept him out for a while last year, Nick Martin, ball of muscle, speedy player, somebody who was very raw his rookie season, but earned that Sam linebacker spot before he got hurt. looks like the 49ers could have an insanely athletic trio, and that's before we even get to some of the other contenders and some of the developmental projects in that room like Jaden Duggar. In fact, Raheem Morris today after practice went up to Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch and said, you guys are so blessed. You're so spoiled to have the linebacker talent that you have here. And of course, Dre Greenlaw is back for the 49ers. One note that I'll make, Trent Williams looks more buoyant than I can ever remember. And this is what, Trent joined the 49ers in 2020. So we're now over half a decade of Trent Williams. And, you know, a lot of times Trent Williams, established future Hall of Famer, kind of, I don't want to say he's going through the motions, but I haven't seen like above and beyond extraordinary enthusiasm from him. I am this year. And maybe it's because he only plans to play for 2 more seasons and he's just soaking it in. But like in between reps, he's throwing the football. He heaved one today with a nice spiral. He's catching the football. He's grabbing the ball after he catches it, and he's cutting and running a little bit. Trent is just having a lot of fun out on the field. He turned 38 years old. He is entering year 17, and I see true enthusiasm from Trent Williams. And probably you could say the same about the entire 49ers operation. I mean, there is a good juice and a good vibe in camp, and even Kyle Shanahan, as he recovers from the severe concussion, has been unable to stay away. He's been out on the practice field for some good stretches. Deommodore Lenoir spoke after today, and he said, winning a Super Bowl, that's the main focus with the whole team. We've been playing together for so long. So, Demo likes to talk a big game. He thinks the 49ers have the talent this year to get it done. I don't disagree with him, but they've got to stay as healthy as possible. And, you know, keeping Romelo Height, who can be that bookend to Nick Bosa with the polished edge rushing that he's bringing. Also, Raheem Morris spoke today. 49ers are going to need an outside linebacker type who can get out and cover. And we saw Romello try to cover CMC on day one. But to be as adaptable as they want to be on defense, I think somebody like Romelo Height brings D-Sport kind of get off and speed, but also some real length. I think that could be very important for the 49ers to turn the corner defensively. Remember, big picture, we zoom out. Only 2 training camp practices. Tomorrow's a jog through, then there's a day off, then there's another practice on Wednesday. But the 49ers need to have a top 3 offense, and they would like to have a top half defense. Top 10 would be ideal if they want to be true Super Bowl, maybe even favorites if they can get into the top 10 defensively. That's the work. You know, what's happening on the field right now is the work that will hopefully, for the 49ers' sake, lead into that. So can they develop that top 10 defense? Well, players like Romelo Height are going to be very important. And you know who else is very important? Nick Bosa. We saw Nick Bosa participate in a nice sled drill along with Osa Odighizuwa, another 49ers addition, a big one from this offseason. All right, so long from the helmet.